So hi friends, how are you? I hope you are doing well. So in this video, we will learn about the higher order component. What is the higher order component analysis? So higher order component is the technique that is used for reusing the component logic. So like as if there are two components and both components have the same logic. So what we are doing in that scenario? So currently we are doing that we can create a same code on the both components. So it will create a duplicacy of our code. So in that scenario we can create a higher order component so that we can write our component logic inside the higher order component, and that that logic can be shared by all components. So we don't need to write a duplicate code. We can share the code on both components. So this is that's why we are using the higher order component. It take a component as a argument and then return a new modified component. So these are the definition of this higher order component. And these are some basic reasons for using the higher order component, because it's easy to handle. Because if there are any changes inside the logic, then we only need to change in our higher order component. We don't need to change on the old component. We can change in only higher order component, and that will automatically reflect it in our old components. That is easy to handle. And second one, we don't if we not using the higher order component, so we need to write our component logic on the old component. So if we are using the higher order component, then we don't need to write our component logic in the old component. We can write a logic inside only a single component, and then that logic can be shared by the old components. So it's remove the duplicacy of our code, and it's very easy to readable. Okay, so now I have created a practical example of higher order component as well. So now open the code. So in this code, I create a two component here. First component is to-do list component, and second component is user list. So what I'm doing here? So what I'm doing here, I started my backend on the 3001. And I'm using the JSON server. So I write my data inside this db.json file, and I'm getting my data from this db.json file. So if you don't have any understanding about the JSON server, so you can check my previous video. So you can have the better understanding of the JSON server. So I just it's create a dummy backend. So I create this dummy backend and started this dummy backend on the 3001 port. So what I'm doing here, so in to-do list component, I'm getting all the reports from this to-do list API. This is the dummy API. So what I'm doing here, so I'm just calling on the use effect when I load this to-do list component, then this use effect method will call. And then I'm calling this load users method, and inside the load users method I'm calling this API. This is to-do's API. And what I'm doing, once the API will run and we are getting the result, and then I'm setting the then I will put all the result inside this to-do's, inside the to-do's state. And then what I'm doing, I'm doing it. I'm iterating each item and displaying the title of each to-do list. You can open this db.json file here. So inside the to-dos, this is the data. This is the dummy data. I am just printing the title. I'm just printing the title from this dummy JSON file. So what I'm doing here, so I'm just calling this API and getting the response from the db.json file. So and then set this response into this to-dos state, and then iterating on the to-dos and printing the title of this to-do of each to-do, printing the title of each to-dos into our React component. So what I'm doing, this is the very simple So we are calling our API and printing our data into this component. And second component is my user list component. So same thing I am doing for this user. I am just calling this user API and then set this response into this user state, and then iterating this user item and printing the name of each user inside a user list component. So this is looking like this one. So like this is the you can check, like first one component is so first we are search users. So these are the user list, this is the user list, and this is the to-dos list we are displaying here. What I want to do here, like I want to create an input here, and when I click when I search, like I just create an input type here, and when I search on this input type, I want to filter the item, filter the data. Okay, so like I just create an input type on this here, and when I pressing any item, then I want to filter the item from this to-dos list. So like this is the to-dos list, and I am iterating each item from this to-dos. So what I can do that, we can filter our data. Filter item item title search term. I already created this state here. So I use search term. This is greater than 0. Then I want to filter that. So what I am doing here now, like when I click on this input type, then I want to filter the item. So like this is the, we are iterating on our to-do list here. So like based on this input type, I just, when I change this input type, I just set the term state, and based on the term I just filter each item of this to-do. So this is the this filter is like this is the filter I am using on the to-do lists to-do list component. And same thing I want to use in the user list component. So what I am doing here, I just create an input type here, and I want to filter item. I want to filter user list as well. So based on the name, like when I click on, when I search in this input type, then I want to filter the user list as well. So I just create these two input type here. So this functionality is working now. So like these are the two different components. First component is user list component, and second component is to-do list component. And both component, like in the component user list, I am just displaying the result, and second in the to-do list, I am just displaying the result as well. And second thing, that input type is also same in both component, and search functionality is also same in both component. So if you see that most of the functionality is same in both component, in the user list component as well as in the to-do list component. So like if you see in this both components, then what happened, that most of the code is same in both to-do list component and user list component. Like these are the states, so both states, and this is the API. Like this only API URL is different, and then like printing the name, and inside the to-do list I am printing the title. So this is the only difference. Otherwise, most of the code is same for the like both components. So in that scenario, we can create a higher order component, because I want to, like this is the duplicacy of our code, And if you don't want to like a duplicate of your code, then you can create a higher order component. So how we can create a higher order component now in that scenario? So first thing we can do that we can remove these type. You can I create already a higher order component basic structure here, and I want to convert this into a higher order component. This is the basic higher order component syntax. So I'm just exporting this user list. So in this user list component, so I create a HOC file here, and in this HOC file, this is the a dummy it doesn't have anything right now. So it's taking a component here, and I also want to type a data type, like which type of API we want to call. Like for the users, I want to call user API, and in case of to-dos, I want to call the to-dos API. So I'm passing these two things here, and new component, a component and data type as we are able to get here. So from this user list component, I just import this HOC component here inside the both user list component and to-do list component. We need to import this HOC component here, and instead of directly we are directly export this user list component. So we need to pass this user list component as a parameter inside this HOC component. HOC is a already component. We will create this HOC component, and inside this HOC component, I am just passing this component from this is the user list component. So I am just passing this user list component, and this is for the users. And for the to-do list, so for the to-do list, I just pass this to-do list component here, and this is for the to-dos. That's why I pass the this is the data type for we want to call the HOC. So I just now create a HOC function. Now first we create a HOC component. So first we need to create these two terms. We can copy this code from here and convert it into into a higher order component. So we can copy this and we can copy the same code as well from them. And first one thing that we need to remove all the things that are common in both components. Remove this component as well. This common code in both. This is the common code in both components. So we need to comment this one, and this one is also common logic. So we want to also remove this common logic from this component. We can comment this from this component as well, and and filter data. Okay, and this is also common. So we need to comment this one code. Comment and code this. Almost code is same. So we are almost this almost this component almost commented. So now create a HOC function. So inside this HOC, we can copy the these things, and we can create instead of code, we can create a data. Then see. Yes, we can add a data close to this data here. Set goes to set data. Set data. So I just create a term is same for both component that I set, and use effect we can create this data method. Data instead. So instead of this is the data. So instead of this, I want to be dynamic data. So we can create a literal here. Dynamic the data type here. We are passing So in case of user, I am passing user from here, and in case of rows, I am passing rows from here. So this rows and this component are coming inside this wrap component and data type. And data type is so we have done the API dynamic, and then what we can create an input type. Copy this input type from this component, and we can put here. We have created input type, and then you can see that so input type here, and then what we want to do, we can also want to use same logic here. And the user data, and we need to pass our data. So we need to pass our data from this filter data. And we want to pass from this filter data from this component, data component. And instead of user, we can use the data here. Data filter first we create a basic architecture. So just passing random data, and then now we are able to fetch this data inside the both components. So inside this get the data. Now can implement this code first. Instead of use this filter data from this data. So I just displaying this variable here. This variable iterating on the data. This data is coming from this HOC. Same thing we can do for the list component. So the list component, we are able to get the data. So now we are able to inside the both component, this input type are coming from this HOC. So I just created this input type here. So this input type are coming in both user list table, user list component, and user list component and to-do list component. What I want to now send the data, and we want to pass our data. We want to send this our data from this HOC component to to-do list component and user component. Okay. So now I just use this filter here. So on the data, I am using this filter and I am checking here. Data type is user. If we are calling this HOC for the user, then I am filtering based on the name. And if I calling this for the rows, then I am calling this. I am filtered by the based on the title. So I just filter method here, and then I just want to pass my this filter data from this HOC component to the user list component and to-do list component. So this input type are both component have this input type is common for the both user list component and to-do list component. And as well as I want to pass data from this HOC component to user list component. Then in user list component, so we are getting our data inside this data, and then instead of we can remove the whole code. This code here and remove the whole component. which this code is already we have used inside the HOC. So we can use this component. So like this data is coming from this HOC, and we are displaying our we are displaying the data here. And so we can check now. Okay, so this search functionality working now, same as previous. So in before HOC, we are creating our logic, and we are filter logic inside this each component, and now we are just put this filter logic into HOC. So and we are passing this component. I created this component here, and I'm passing this user component and for which this is for the user API, users API. I'm passing user API this is for the users API. So I'm calling this HOC. I just need to pass a component here, and the second parameter is it's for it should define a type for it's a user type or to-dos type. So it's for users type. That's why I'm passing users here, and for the to-dos. So I create a component here, and I'm passing this component, and it's for to-dos. So now we are able to fetch all the data inside this HOC component and data type. So I'm just returning this wrapped component that are coming from this user list or to-do list, and I just add some input type here. I just added an input type here, and as well as I am just passing some data from this HOC component to-do list component and user list component. So I just create a filter data here. I just first thing I'm calling the API as we are doing in the previous user list component and to-do list component. So this is the dynamic, if we call for user, then here we are able to get the user, and if it's for to-dos, then we are able to dynamic data with to-dos. So this API call accordingly, and then we are fetch our data, and then we can put our data into this data state, and then filter our data from this data state, and then filter data I'm passing from this filter data from this HOC component to our to-do list component and user list component. Then in this data we are able to fetch the filter data that is coming from the HOC component, and now we can display our item from this HOC component to this user list component. So this is the higher order component example. So if you if you have any queries, any doubts regarding the higher order component, so you can ping or comment me. I will try to explain it. I already try to I already try to explain better. But if you still have any issues, so you can comment. I will try to solve your problem. And I already pushed this code into my GitHub repo, and I will also put the GitHub repo URL inside this description. So please like and subscribe my channel. And if you have any doubts in the ReactJS and any topic that you want to be with the practical example explanation, so I will try to understand and I will try to explain to better way. So please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.